Have you ever noticed something strange about getting older? You realize that not everything you've carried since childhood is worth keeping. It's like you've been hauling a backpack full of rocks, believing they were essential, only to find they're just weighing you down as an adult. This isn't just about salaries, mortgages, or evening skincare routines. It's about learning to let go of old mindsets, outdated expectations, unhealed wounds, and beautiful illusions that once captivated you. On this journey, we don't need more burdens, we need more relief. And often, that relief comes not from adding more to our lives, but from releasing what no longer serves us. Have you ever had one of those jarring moments when you realize you're not as important to someone as you thought you were? It feels like getting doused with a bucket of ice water. But here's the funny thing, that moment can be your greatest turning point. It's when you stop living for other people's validation and start truly looking in the mirror. This painful realization can be incredibly liberating. It's not just a cool quote, it's a reality check. Once you accept that you don't have to be the most liked person in the room, you can finally be yourself without having to edit your personality for every new person you meet. And if you feel the need to be alone, it doesn't mean you're antisocial. Sometimes you just need space to think, reset your goals, and tune out the noise of the world. The desire for solitude isn't a weakness, it's a rare strength, especially for those who are too busy trying to be the best version of themselves for everyone except themselves. Have you ever felt exhausted without knowing why? It might be because you're wearing a mask, the mask of a good person who always smiles and says, "I'm okay," even when you're screaming inside. Forced kindness isn't a virtue, it's a trap. Remember, the path to a genuinely fulfilling life isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about being true to yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. Your freedom begins the moment you give yourself permission to be you. You've been told that being a good person means always saying yes, but what if that kindness is a trap? Fake kindness is exhausting because you're so busy pleasing everyone else that you forget yourself. Even worse, the more you present a constantly agreeable facade, the more people see you as a target. Why? Because it's easy for people to offload their burdens onto someone who never says no. Being taken advantage of for being too nice isn't a fairy tale, it's a harsh reality. Many people are so afraid of conflict, so worried about being labeled as selfish, that they let others steer the course of their lives. So, it's okay to be friendly, but don't lose your voice in the process. Being a good person is important, but being a healthy, good person is even more crucial. Saying no doesn't make you a villain. Yet, in a world full of empty pleasantries and smiling emojis, people who dare to disagree are often seen as rude, stubborn, or even cruel. But sometimes, those are the most honest people you'll ever meet. Your voice is your power, doc. Don't ever trade your honesty for someone else's comfort. True kindness is a strength, not a weakness, and it begins with respecting yourself. That feeling of freedom finally emerges when you learn to say, "No, it's true." You might lose some invitations or even a few friends. But what you gain is infinitely more valuable the space to live life on your own terms. Instead of being a flexible person, you risk becoming a pushover, melting to please everyone. Ironically, the people you can truly trust are often not the ones who always agree with you. They're the ones who have the courage to say, "Hey, that's not okay." You know they aren't just trying to please you. They genuinely care. People who are firm are more trustworthy because they have principles, and that's a rare quality in a world filled with people afraid to be seen as rude. So, don't rush to apologize for disagreeing. It might just be the first sign that you're finally starting to live for yourself. It might seem peaceful to just agree with everyone to avoid drama and conflict, but a little voice inside you starts to whisper, "Whose life is this anyway?" Avoiding conflict is essentially avoiding life itself. Life isn't about pleasing everyone. Sometimes, you have to choose a path that might disappoint others, but it brings you an incredible sense of relief. Every time you say, "Yes," when you really want to say, "No," you give a small piece of your life away for someone else to control. Don't let your fear of conflict rob you of your own life's direction. That habit of constantly saying yes comes at a high price. First, you're living with quiet anxiety, like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Second, you end up living someone else's dream, not your own. And finally, and most frighteningly, you could die with regret, having spent your entire life as a tamed version of the wild, potential-filled person you truly are. So, sometimes, saying no isn't selfish. It's an emergency rescue for your soul, which has been silenced for far too long. In a world that tells you to be balanced, what you actually need is something that keeps you up at night, not from stress, but from passion. You need an obsession. An obsession saves you from a life without direction. Without something you're constantly thinking about, your life can feel like a broken compass, spinning around without getting anywhere. The people who seem the most alive aren't the most relaxed. They're the ones whose eyes light up when they talk about something. It's usually not a hobby, it's an obsession. The funny thing is, the map of your life is formed by what you constantly think about. If you spend every day thinking about how to grow, improve, or create something honest from your heart, that will slowly forge your own path. It's not because you're forcing it, but because the universe can sense, okay, this person is serious. So, if you're obsessed with something, don't be ashamed. It might just be the fuel for your destiny. Have you ever held back from showing your confidence? So many of us are afraid of being seen as arrogant, cocky, or just too full of ourselves. But here's a simple truth. The world doesn't need you to shrink yourself down and wait for permission to shine. Believing that you can create something great isn't arrogance. It's a sign that you're still ready to grow, learn, and build something honest from within yourself. Truly confident people don't need to show off. They are too busy proving their worth through action. And here's a hard fact. If you don't believe in yourself, the world will move on without you. Life won't wait until you feel worthy enough. And opportunities don't always come around twice. If you keep downplaying your own abilities, don't be surprised if you end up as a spectator in a life you were meant to star in. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about knowing you are ready to grow. What's one step you can take today to stop being a spectator and start being the main character of your own story? An easy plan is like eating plain toast. It's safe, but it's bland. The world is already full of safe, straight line plans that don't excite anyone. That's why you need something that sounds a little crazy, but still has a clear direction. A normal plan won't inspire anyone, not even yourself. But when you have an idea that makes your heart race and your mind buzz with excitement, that's a sign that you're truly alive. The world changes because of people who were brave enough to try things that were initially thought to be impossible. And never underestimate the power of pressure. Challenges force us to get creative. A tight deadline, a limited budget, or a seemingly impossible goal can make your brain work at 200%. When you're cornered, your genius emerges, not because you're a superhero, but because you have no choice but to level up. So, be brave enough to create a plan that even you think sounds crazy, but is still logical. Go for it. There's a strange assumption out there that if you're good at talking, you must be deceitful. But communication skills aren't meant for manipulation. They're meant for connecting souls. The superpower of sincere storytelling. Persuasion is not manipulation. The true power to influence others lies in your intent. When you speak with sincerity from your heart and your own lived experiences, people can feel that. That authenticity is far more powerful than any empty, sweet words. A story that changes a life always begins by touching a single heart. Before a big idea can change the world, it must first resonate with one person. That's why learning to speak with honesty and impact isn't just a useful skill, it's a superpower. Master the art of telling a real, genuine story. You don't need to be dramatic or over the top. Sometimes, one simple story can be a beacon of light for someone who is completely lost in the dark. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. We truly appreciate all your support. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video!